Hi everyone, welcome to Irish Crochet Lace, and we continue our tutorial for Flowers of Dunes dress. First of all, I have to apologize for not publishing any tutorial for a month, but I was preparing for the Christmas charity fairs, and I was doing my temari Japanese embroidery balls. Also, I was working on other projects, but so far I'm almost ready to start the dress, but it's left back in my workshop, and right now I'm doing the tutorial from my home. And you might hear the noise. That's our neighbors doing the renovation. So don't bother about the noise in the background. Okay, so we are ready to start. So today's tutorial is the laying out the pattern on the template. Here I have a skirt. As you can see, it's fabric ready to make. Well, actually it's a skirt I used to wear, and I don't fit it anymore, but I washed it and I keep it since it fits really well. I use it as a template. So what do we have here? Over the edge I make the chain of shamrocks. This is the chain I made for the dress. So once you place it, make sure that you place it with the right side up, right side down, sorry. So this is our front. It should be faced towards the cloth. Then the second thing that I make is I lay out the big flowers and the big leaves. Let me show it. So I place them the way I like. I pin them, and then I later sew it with a needle and thread. As you can see, this is our main pattern. And now the only thing I have to do now is to place the marigold flowers. They are the second main element, and in the spaces that I have left will be the oxalis flowers and buttons. So I have three sets of flowers like this. The calendula flower, I spread it evenly on the surface. There's one thing you have to remember when you place the multi-layered elements, is that when you place it, make sure that you don't place it on the area where you will be seated. So like 20 centimeters from the waist down till about the middle of thigh. All the motifs should be flat, otherwise it won't be really comfortable for you to wear the skirt or the dress, because it's quite thick and you might feel all these bumps. Okay, so I place it here. So if my body goes like this, this is not the place to bother us. This one is above the waistline, well, the bottom line, and I use tailor pins to pin the flower. As you can see, I put my arm inside the skirt, so I don't attach the flowers to the other side where the pattern is already made. And that's the calendula. I got one more at the bottom, and now we have the time for the French marigold flowers, and they are spread in blocks, like 5 or 6 in a block, in the set, like this. Well, I might want to do something like this so I don't spread very regularly. Something like this. Might place 2 or 3 flower buds here. And for each set of French marigolds, I place the leaf. Well, and originally it was the poppy leaf, but for our pattern it works perfectly. So you can see this part of the area is already covered, and in the small areas you might want to place something like shamrocks, a little bit of flowers. It also depends on how tight you want to fit the elements. So if you want more filling, you might leave just the big spaces here and so on. And if you want more elements, you just add more elements and use less filling. It's all up to you and your fantasy. Actually, it's too small, so I might want to use a smaller flower bud. If you remember in the first tutorial, we made them different sizes, starting from the first chain of 5 chains, ending up with 9 or 10. So as you can see, the difference. That's why we made them so different, so we can fill the gaps, all the spaces between the flowers and elements, like this. And so we have lots of choice to play around with. I might want to do one here and maybe one over here, or just leave it like this. So this is the first part of the template. Now we have to pin all of them. Have to be very careful, because the next stage is quite dangerous for your arms, for your hands, because you'll be working with the cloth full of needles. So it goes like this. Might want just to play around with this flower. If I don't like it, location, just tilt it, shift it, and so on. So this is generally it, and I'm ready to pin them. And after that, we're gonna sew them to the template. Okay, so once the motifs is placed and pinned, now we start sewing it to the surface. I use this great metal box of shortbreads. Well, that's the reason why the skirt doesn't fit. So I place it between the layers and I use it as a frame. So once I start working, that's my cat came in. Too scary. The camera is too scary for him. Okay. So already back going back to work. So what we need to do now, usually I start with the main element. So once it is attached, since it's not really lays flat on the surface, once you sew it, you might see that its disposition slightly changed. So we'll start with the poppy leaf. Well, in our case that would be the French marigold, and we do the running stitch. Just attach it very close to the edge, but don't touch these little ribs because we'll be using them for the filling. So like every 3-4 stitches. No. Okay, that's better. There's not enough light in this room. And over here. And since this element has this little pointing sides, so like this, just stitch it through it to the cloth and back, again to the side. As I said, our neighbor's doing the renovation. Have to stitch really tightly. So once you do the filling, you might, some of the elements will try to raise up. They're not secured. But in this case, it's secured very tight, and your filling won't be sliding and mixing up all the patterns. Again, it's better to use it from the wrong side to the right. These little pointers. So it is attached to the cloth on this side and here. Okay. As I said, you have to be very careful. Because right now there's about 23 pins here, and I won't remove them until I finish, well, in the whole layout, and I cannot remove them until I finish with the whole motif. So it's very tricky to work on this surface. That's why I usually place the pins all in one direction. So once you know that you might be hurt from this side, and you're working from this and from this side to avoid the damage and blood stains. As you can see, the box at the bottom helps you insert a needle. And sorry, I'm not really a good speaker when I'm working with a needle. So excuse me for the poor language at this stage. Right, flower is almost, well, the leaf is almost attached. Again. Okay, this pin is already removed because this part of the leaf is sitting firmly on the template. Again. Two more stitches. And now we're doing the stitch on sideways. Right. And you make a small knot. I usually make just a loop and I pull the thread through, because this is actually secures the thread. It also allows us to remove it once we finish the clothing. So once you finish it and we've done all the filling, I'll show you from the other side. Actually completed the filling on this part. I can show you what I mean. I just pick a pin or a fine crochet hook, something like 0.4 millimeters, and I just release this little tie, and I find the beginning and I pull it through. Actually got the wrong one. Anyway, this should usually come off very easily, but not when you're trying to make it on a video. You know, the Murphy's law. If something goes wrong, it goes wrong. So generally, you remove the stitch, and there's a lot more on the background. So once you remove it, it's off the template. So in this tutorial you learn how to do the layout of the flowers of June's dress, and you learned how to sew in the motifs and how to remove them from the template. So again, let me show you some other elements. You find this little knot here. Find this little knot, you release it with the needle, it's off now, and you simply pull the beginning knot. That's it. So generally, if I made the whole dress, this part could be already removed. So hopefully we'll do that next week, so stay tuned. So the next week we're gonna do the filling, and in another two tutorials I will show you how to do the neckline and some other small tricks that you can do with the filling in Irish crochet lace. Okay, see you next time. Bye.